Hi viewers, in this video we are going to discuss the operators in Python. Usually in our applications we are going to write expressions. What are expressions? Expressions are the collection of data and some operations that can be performed on the data that should be performed on the data. That is what called as expression. For example, x plus y plus 2 here is an expression. So it's a combination of operators plus two times then three operands, that means x, y and 2. So there are two components in any expression. One is the operator. Operator is actually the operation to be carried out, and the operands are the data that are processed by the operators. Now in this video we are going to have a discussion on the various operators available in Python. Let us start our discussion with arithmetic operators. So we are very familiar with arithmetic operations. We are used to do in our regular day-to-day life or in our applications. Addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So these are the four arithmetic operations we have in our regular day-to-day life computations. So addition can be done by plus operator. Okay, in Python, addition can be done by plus operator. And for example, here x plus y plus 2. So it is adding three values. Okay. But one important thing is it has other purposes also. And this plus operator has other purposes also. It's actually very important to discuss that too. Another one purpose is it's acting as unary plus. What is unary plus? The numbers are of two types, positive numbers and negative numbers, right? And if you are placing a plus in front of a number, then it will say that it's a positive number. So when the plus or the arithmetic operator plus is placed in front of a number, at that point it is acting as the unary plus. That means the sign of that number is indicated by that operator plus. One more operation is there for this plus. Okay, let me have a small code for this. For example, a equal to plus 10. Okay, a equal to plus 10. So here 10 is nothing but a positive number. If I am not mentioning this plus, no problem at all. Still it's a positive number only. But this plus is playing an important role here. It is playing a role of sign here. Right now it's saying that it's a positive number. Now let me print a, and by seeing it you can identify that this is a positive number. Yes, still it's 10 is positive, so it's printed without sign, but by seeing it you can say that it's a positive number, right? So in this case it's called as unary plus. And for example, you have another number, for example 20, right? And here okay, you are finding the sum of this a and b, so c equal to a plus b. So here this plus is actually between two numerical values. This plus is between two numerical values. In that case, it's acting as addition operator. So here it acted as the sign operator. It is acted as a sign of this number, and here it acted as the addition operator. It's adding the values of a and b, and it is finding the result and storing the result back into c. This is what it is doing, right? Now it has one more work to do, okay, in Python, but it is not considered as specifically mentioned. At the same time it is doing okay, implicitly. For example, I have two strings s1 is equal to hi and s2 equal to hello. Now, if you are placing this plus between, okay, if you are placing this plus between S1 and S2, where S1 and S2 are the strings, there this plus is playing a role of concatenation operator. That means it is concatenating the two strings, or combining the two strings, or clubbing the two strings. So plus can act as a unary plus operator, right? Or it can act as an addition operator to add two values or two numbers. If it is placed between two strings, it can even concatenate the two strings. Now let us have a small demo on this. So print of s1 plus s2, then print of c, right? So run module. Yes, it's clubbing hi and hello. Both are different strings, but plus is acting as a concatenation operator and is clubbing two strings. and returning the result. And when it is placed between two numbers, it is working as addition operator, right? So this is the role of addition operator or plus operator in Python, right? Now let us go back to the next operator, sub minus. That means it's subtraction operator. As we say, if you are saying x minus y, x is the left operand and y is the right operand, and it is subtracting the right operand from the left operand and returning the result. So when it is placed between two numerical values or new numbers, it is doing the subtraction operation, and it is returning the result of remainder. Okay, when you are subtracting the right operand from the left operand, right? And at the same time, if you are placing it in front of a numerical value, at that time it is denoting the sign, that it's called as unary minus. As like unary plus, it can be placed in front of a single numerical value, and it can be called as a negative sign. Okay, it's used to denote the negative sign or negative sign of the number. Then in that case it's called as unary minus. Next one is multiplication. Again, there is no much things to discuss, right? It's multiplying two operands, or it's multiplying two operands, and it is returning the result. But there are a lot of good things, or a lot of interesting things to discuss in division operators. So in Python, there are three different division operators. Okay, only one addition operator, one subtraction operator, or one multiplication operator. But for division, we have three different division operators available in Python. Let us discuss this division operators little detail. Okay. For example, I have two values A and B, right? Let me have A's values 20 and B's values 10 for the demo purpose, right? Now, first let me print the value of the first, result of the first operator. Actually, it is single slash division, otherwise called normal division. Okay, it's a normal division, single slash division, right? So it is dividing. For example, if you're saying x by y, it is dividing x by y. X is the dividend and y is the divisor, right? It's acting, y is acting as divisor and x is acting as dividend, and x is divided by y, and it is returning the quotient as the result. That is very, very important to know, right? So this single slash division operator will do the division operation, and it will return the quotient as a result. And one more important thing is, it always results into float. That means the quotient will be returned in the form of a fractional number, or a real number, or a decimal number, right? So sometimes when you are dividing a number by another number, your quotient will be in the fractional form. That means it will have a decimal point, and it will have some digits after the decimal point. In that case, if you want all the decimal digits in that quotient, then you can use slash division, single slash division, right? So let us have the demo on this. So print A by B. Okay, print A by B. So now let me run it. Yeah, it's giving 20 by 10, and it's giving the result in the form of float. Okay, that means it's in the form of decimal value, right? So since the result of our quotient of 20 by 10 is 2, it's not returning exactly 2, it's returning 2.0, because it is returning the value in the form of float. This is the property of this is the property of single slash division. But what does double slash division do? Okay, it's called floor division. So it is doing a division of one. It is doing the division of x by y, right? And it is returning the quotient as result. So in that case, it's similar to the single slash division. But what is the main difference between this single slash division and double slash division or floor division is, as the name implies, it will round off the result or quotient of the division to the nearest lowest integer. Okay, or it will floor the result or quotient you are getting. If you are getting a fractional number as a quotient, and that fractional number will be rounded off to nearest lowest integer. For example, if you are getting 2.99 as the quotient of division result, right? It will round it to 2. Okay, that is what called as floor division. So it will divide the left operand by the right operand. It will divide the left operand by the right operand, and it will return the quotient as a result, and that result is actually rounded off to nearest lowest integer. That means it is rounded up to the integer, and especially it is rounded up to lowest integer. In other case, you can say that it's giving the whole number part of that division quotient. Okay, let us check that how it is working, right? For example, okay, let me take the same a by b. Otherwise, a is 10, b is 20, right? Now a by b. So 10 by 20 will give some fractional number as a result. Sometimes this is 0 point something, right? 0 point some digits, right? But what it will do is this double slash division will round off it to nearest lowest integer, that is 0. Okay, let us check it. You see, it's rounding off it to 0. But if you use single slash division in this place, it will even return all the decimal digits after the decimal point also in the quotient. You see, it's returning 0.5. Okay, so the decimal digit is also returned when you are using single slash division, but if you are using double slash division, it will return only the integer part. In other ways, we can say that it is rounding up that particular result into the nearest lowest integer, right? So we discussed two division operators. Now the third one, in some applications we require the remainder as a result. Okay, because in division normally we have two results, one is the quotient, another one is remainder. In some cases we require the quotient, in some cases we require the remainder also. So in that case we can use modulus division operator. So modulus division operator will divide the left operand by the right operand and returns the remainder. That is very, very important. It returns the remainder of the division operation, right? So let us check it. Let us check it. For example, let me divide, for example, 25 by 2. So A is 25 and B is 2, right? And let me use modulus division operator here. So 25 by 2, if you are dividing 25 by 2, it has 12 2's, right? Then 24 and remainder is 1. So if you are using modulus division operator, it will return the remainder. Let us check whether it is returning that remainder 1 or not. Yes, it is returning the remainder 1, right? So modulus division operator is returning the remainder of a division operation. Okay, that means the result is in the form of remainder. So these are the arithmetic operators we have in Python: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, single slash division, then floor division and modulus division. Now let us move to next type of operators, comparison operators. So comparison operators are otherwise called as logical operators, which are used to form some logical expressions to compare two operands and return the result. So this comparison operators will compare two values and return the result in the form of true or false. It will return a Boolean result, whether true or false, that whether that expression evaluates to true or false. And most of the times we use this comparison operators to form the conditions in our decision making structures and looping structures. It may be in if else, if 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 okay, if else structure, or in for or while loops. To create a condition, to represent a condition, we can use this comparison operators. And what are the comparison operators available in Python? Or greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, then equal to, then not equal to. So greater than will return true if the left operand, the operand at the left of greater than symbol is greater than the operand at the right. Okay. So if left operand is greater than right, then it will return true. Else it will return false. Like that, less than will return true if the left operand is lesser than the right operand. Else it will return false. So like that, greater than or equal to will return true if the left operand is less than or equal to the right operand. Okay. Sorry, it is greater than or equal to the right operand. So if suppose if the left operand is greater than or equal to the right operand, in that case the greater than or equal to will return true as a result. Like that, less than or equal to will check whether the left operand is less than or equal to the right operand. If left operand is less than or equal to the right operand, it will return true, else it will return false. Then double equal to will return true if both the operands are equal. Okay, if both the operands are equal, then double equal to will return true. If both the operands are not equal, then it will return false. The not equal to will check whether both operands are not equal. If both operands are not equal, it will return true, else it will return false. So let us have a small demo of this. Let me have the same code copied from here, and let me paste it in the idle. Right, and now let me run the code. Yes, so you see value of x is actually 10 and value of y is 15. So actually x is less than 15. So now first thing is x is greater than y. So that means 10 is greater than 15. No, it's false, right? So let us check whether it is returning false. Yes, it's returning false. Okay, 10 is not greater than 15, so it's returning false. The next one is x is less than y. That means 10 is less than 15. Yes, true. Right, so it will return true. Yes, yeah, it's returning x less than y is true. Right, and like that, it is operating all the operands. Okay, or it is evaluating the conditions and it is returning true or false. Okay, and this is how the comparison operators are working. Now, let us discuss the next type of operators, logical operators. Sorry, the comparison operators are only having the name comparison operators. Logical operators are having some purpose. So, logical operators are used to club two conditions and evaluate them. Okay, logical operators are used to club two conditions and evaluate them, or sometimes to negate the condition provided. Okay, so if you are provided with an expression, logical expression or comparison expression, right, and if you want to club two such um, comparison expressions or conditions, you can use this logical operators. Here, this and or this not. These are the three logical operators available in Python. And, or, and not are the three logical operators in Python, and they are just equivalent to the truth tables we are using in electronic circuits, especially in Boolean logic. We have truth tables, right? So this and, or, and not are working like and, or, and not gates, okay, in electronic circuits. So how this and is working? Suppose if and is having both the inputs true, then it will return the result true. So both the inputs of and is true means the result is true, right? If any one is false, the result is false. But in or, if any one of the condition or if any one of the input is true, the result is true, right? So whether either the first condition is true or the second condition is true. Okay, either first or second is true, then the whole condition is evaluating to true. Not is accepting single condition as operand and negating it. Okay, first it will evaluate the condition, and if it is resulting true, it will negate it to false. If it is resulting false, it will negate it to true. So and is returning true if both the conditions clubbed by this and are true, right? That means both the conditions should be true, then only that and will return true. But if any one of the condition is true, then it will return true. Okay, in case of or, so or will return true if either of the condition is true. Then not is actually uh, negating the conditions. Right, now let us have a sample. Okay, sample code. So let me copy here. Right. See now, first thing is I want to club two conditions: 5 greater than 2 and 6 greater than 3. Right? 5 is greater than 2. Yes. 6 is greater than 3. Yes. So this is true and this is true. So both are true. So true and true, it's true. Okay. Suppose if either of the condition is false, then it will return false. So first print statement will return true because both the conditions evaluate to true. 5 greater than 2 is true, then 6 greater than 3 is also true. If you check at the second one, 2 is less than 5, yes, it's true. Okay, 2 is less than 5, it's true. And 6 is greater than 3, it's true, right? Here both are true, again it is true. But let me change it to 3 less than 6, sorry, 3 greater than 6. See, I have two conditions. 2 is less than 5, right? 2 is less than 5, yes, it's true. But here 3 is greater than 6, no, it's false. In that case, true. Okay, so let me have or here. Okay, true or here false. So if either of the condition is true, then the result is true. So now this will return true as a result. It will return true as a result, right? Now third one is not of a condition. So here condition is 5 equal to 5. Yes, it's true. Not of true is false. It will return false. Now let us evaluate this. Yes, it's returning true, true, false. That means first one is true, second one is true, third one is false. Now let me have a small change in the code, okay, for the demonstration of other cases of this and or and not, right? For example, here both are true now. Let me change this condition like this. 2 is greater than 5. Now is it true? No, 2 is not greater than 5. At the same time, 6 is greater than 3. So this is false and this is true. In AND operator actually returns true if and only if both conditions are evaluating true. But here the first condition is evaluating to false, so that the final result will be false, right? And second here if either of the condition is true, the final result is true. Here first one is true, second one is false, so we got true here. Let me change the condition here also, right? For example, 6 is greater than 6. Whether 6 is either 6 is greater than 6? No, 6 is not greater than 6. It's equal to 6, but it's not greater than 6. So here both the conditions are false. 2 is less than 5. Sorry, let me take 5 less than 2. Now you see 5 less than 2 is false and 6 is greater than 6 is also false. So OR will return false if and only if both the conditions are false. Now let us check it. And third one, not of 5 equal to 5. Let me have not of 5 greater than 5. So 5 greater than 5 is actually false. When you are applying not on that, it will return true. So here first one is false, second one is false, and third one is actually true, right? So false, false, true. So that is what the result we expect. Let us check. Yes, false, false, true, right? So this is how the logical operators in Python are working. Now let us move to the next type of operators. Is bitwise operators. So bitwise operators are operating on the binary equivalent of the operators. Bitwise operators operating on the binary equivalent of the operands. Okay, so when you are applying this binary bitwise operators on that data, they will operate on, first they will convert the data into the binary equivalent, and they will operate on the binary equivalent of the data, right? So here they will operate bit by bit. So they will operate bit by bit. So every bit of the binary number will be, or binary equivalent of the given number will be operated. Now, just for information, okay, what is the binary? Is actually binary is a representation of a number using only two digits. That means 0 and 1. So if you are able to represent a number in the form of two digits, 0 and 1, then it is called binary. So here, binary equivalent of 2 is actually 0, 0, 1, 0. That means the rightmost place is 1. Okay, rightmost place is 1. Then next one is 2. Then 4. Then 8. So only for the value 2, 1 is given. So if you add the weight values, that means 0 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0, then it is 2, right? So binary equivalent of 2 is 0, 0, 1, 0 in 4 digits. Like that, binary equivalent of 7, right? This is 1, this is 2, this is 4. So 4 plus 2 plus 1, it is 7. So binary equivalent of 7 is 0, 1, 1, 1. Now, let us discuss the operators with two examples. Let us take x is actually 10. So what is the binary equivalent of 10? What is, how can you get 8? 10 is actually 8 plus 2, right? So this is 1, then this is 2, then this is 4, and this is 8. So for 8, for the locations of 8 and 2, right, you are having 1 here. In that case, you can add the weight values 8 and 2, you'll get 10 here. For all the remaining places, you will have 0. So 0 plus 8 plus 2, that means all remaining places 0, then 8 plus 2, it is 10. Now binary equivalent of 10 is 0 0 0 0, then 1 0 1 0. 1 0 1 0 is the binary equivalent of 10. Like that for y is 4 and 1 2 4. So for the okay, for this bit, okay, third bit from right, it's having the weight value of 4, and if you are applying 1 to that, all the remaining bits are 0. That means you add all the weight values, 0 plus this 4, it is 4. So binary equivalent of 4 is 0 0 0 0, then 0 1 0 0. Now you are going to apply the bitwise operators on this values. Okay, right. So first let us discuss AND operator. Okay, let us discuss AND operator. AND operator is operating on okay, corresponding bits of both the values, both the operands x and y. So let us take x and y. So it is represented as x and y. So single ampersand symbol is representing AND operator. So x and y. So what is the binary equivalent of x? As we said, 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0. Binary equivalent of y is 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 0. So in that case, it will operate okay, bit by bit. That means corresponding bits in both the numbers. For example, the rightmost bit in the x and rightmost bit in the y, right? So 0 and 0. 0 represents false, right? So 0 and 0, the result is 0. Okay, 0 and 0, the result is 0. The next one, the second bit from rightmost okay position, then second bit from the rightmost position. So 1 and 0, again 1 is 1, another one is 0. When AND will return 1 is, when both the inputs are 1, it will return 1. So here 1 is 1, another one is 0, again it is 0. Then here third one is, here 0 and here 1. Again one input is 1, another input is 0, and will return 1 if and only if both the inputs are 1. Here both are, one is 1, another one is 0, again 0, right? And again 4 1 and 0, okay, now again 0. So all the remaining are 0. So 0 and 0 0 only. So finally, when you are applying AND operation or AND operator between this x and y, that means 10 and 4, you will get the final result 0. Okay, you will get 0 as a result of bitwise AND between 10 and 4. Like that, bitwise OR is actually again like same like okay, 10 no, AND operator, it will operate bit by bit. So rightmost 0 and 0, so both are 0, so it will be returning 0 as a result. Then here next one 1, here 0. So if either of the input is 1, it will return 1, right? So here 1 is 1, here 1, here 0, so the result is 1. So the next bit is 1, result is 1. Then third one 0 here and here 1 here, again 1 and 0, so either of the bit is 1, so here return 1. Now fourth one 1 and 0, okay, so here again 1 is returning as a result, so 1 1 1 0. All the remaining bits are 0 0 0 and 0 0 0 here, so the remaining bits are 0. Okay, so now when you are applying AND operator between this x and y, that means 10 and 4, you are getting 14 plus 14 as the result. That means 0, that means 1, then that is 0, so then 2 plus 4 plus 8, so that is 14, right? 8 plus 6 is 14, so 14 is returned as a result, right? Now next one is bitwise NOT. So bitwise NOT is actually just a negation operator. Okay, it's a negation operator. So negation means if 1 is there, it will negate it to 0. If 0 is there, it will negate it to 1. For example, you are applying this one is negation operator or bitwise NOT on this x. That means all the bits in this 10 are negated. That means 0 will be converted to 1 and 1 will be converted to 0. So 0 will convert to 1. So 1, 1, 1, 1. then 1 is becoming 0. So 0, then again 1, then 0, then 1. So here all ones, here 0, 1, 0, 1, right? 0, 1. So all ones, right? Then 0, 1, 0, 1. So what does this value actually denote? When you are saying this, right? When you are saying this, negating the number, you will get a number in the form of with a negative sign. Okay, right? So when you are having a number with a negative sign, its leftmost bit will be 1. Okay, this is called 2's complement representation. 2's complement representation of a negative number. The leftmost bit will be 1 to denote that it's a negative number, and the remaining bits are used to calculate the magnitude of the number. Now let me say that 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and this is 128. Here, since it is negative sign, it should be minus 128. Now minus 128 plus, this is 64 plus 32 plus 16. Okay, and then here 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus here it is 1 plus here it is 4. So 5. So 1 plus 4, 5. Then here it is 16. So 5 plus 16, 21. 21 plus here 32. 21 plus 32. It is 53. 53 plus 64. It is 117. Now 117 plus minus 128. It is minus 11. So when you are negating the bits, all the bits of okay, plus 10, okay, you will get minus 11 as a result, right? Now next one is bitwise XOR operation. So bitwise XOR is actually returning the value 1 if both the bits are different. Okay, when you are applying this bitwise XOR operation on this X and Y, right, it will return a value 1, okay, if both the bits are different. For example, you see this is 0 and this is 0, both are same, so it will return the result 0. Okay, at the same time, here you see second bit is 1 and here second bit is 0, right? When you are applying XOR operation on this, right, both the bits are different, so its result will be 1. Okay, like that, 0 and 1. Okay, again 1, right? Then 1, the fourth bit is here 1, here it is 0, both are different, so the result is 1, right? So what you want to understand is bitwise XOR operation operates like AND and OR operations or operators, and it is giving the result 1 if both the bits are different, right? Now this is called bitwise XOR operation. Now let us move to the next bitwise operators. Shift operators. Shift is actually shifting one or more bits to the left or right. That is what called as shift operation. Here shift operator, this is actually called right shift. Okay, and this is called left shift. What right shift will do is it will shift the number okay, to number of positions to the right. Right? So what is the syntax? The number x, then right shift operator, then number of positions you want to shift to right. Okay. Here you are saying that two bits should be shifted. So normally what shifting is shifting the bits from right one by one. Okay. But actually here how this shift will happen is if you are saying that shift the binary equivalent of x to 2-bit positions to right, the rightmost two bit positions will be dropped. Okay, the rightmost 2-bit positions will be dropped, and two zeros will be added at the leftmost position. Okay, so now this is 0 0 0 0 and 1 0 1 0. Now what will happen is this rightmost 2 bits will be dropped, and what will happen? 0 0 0 0 1 0 will be remaining, and after that to the left two zeros will be added. So that's how you are getting 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 as a result. Okay, so the rightmost two bits will be dropped and add two zeros at leftmost bits. That is how it is behaving. So when you are doing right shift, okay, the rightmost number of bits you are mentioning here will be dropped, and at the left side that means number of zeros will be added. Like that left shift is also working. So leftmost two bits will be dropped, and at rightmost position two zeros will be added. So leftmost two bits will be dropped, and rightmost okay to zero, rightmost two zeros will be added. So this is how the left shift is working. Now let us have a small okay demo on this. Okay, now let me paste the code here with the example x is 10 and y is 4. Now let me run the code. See, we are getting okay x is 10, y is 4. Then x and y is actually 0, x or y is 14, x negation of x is minus 11, x or y is 14, then x right shift 2 is 2 and x left shift 2 is 40, right? So this is how the bitwise operators are working in Python. Now let us move to the next type of operators, right? Assignment operators. So assignment operators are actually the operators are which are used to assign a value to its right to a variable to its left. Okay, for example, x is equal to 10. This is what the expression. So here the value at right to that equal to symbol is our operator is 10. That value will be assigned to x. Now x will contain the value 10. So once you are printing x, you will get the value 10 in that x. What is an important thing is there are a mixed form of operators called compound assignment operators. In other programming languages, it's called shorthand assignment operators. That means equal. This is assignment operator, right? But you can mix this assignment operator with any of the arithmetic or bitwise operators. You can club any arithmetic operator and bitwise operator, and you can have the new operator called shorthand assignment operator or compound assignment operators. Plus is equal to, minus is equal to, star is equal to, slash is equal to, right? So what is x plus is equal to 5? It's equal to x equal to x plus 5. Instead of writing x equal to x plus 5, you can write in a short form x plus is equal to 5, right? So the same is the case for all. For example, and equal to, so x equal to x and 5. That instead of that you can write x and equal to 5. Or star is actually the repetition operator, right? Repetition operator is normally used to okay, it's actually for power. Okay, it's a power operator. Okay, and power operator is actually can be used in compound assignment operators. Let us have a small example on power operators, right? For example, let me have x is 10 and y is 4. Now let me have z is equal to x star y. Now what does it mean? X raised to the power y. Okay, its meaning is x raised, okay, x raised to the power y. That means x to the power y or x raised to the power y. Okay, so this is what the meaning of this star. So star is actually otherwise called as power operator. Now let us check what will be the result of 10 raised to the power 4. Okay, so print of z. Okay, x raised to the power 4. Yes, it is a 10,000. So 10 raised to the power 4 is 10,000. That means 10 into 10 into 10 into 10. That is what 10 raised to the power 4. So star is also can be used as a compound assignment operator, right? So now these are the compound assignment operators. You can club any assignment of sorry any mathematical operator, that an arithmetic or bitwise operator with assignment operator. Okay, so that is called compound assignment operator. Now let us move to the next type of operators called identity operators. Identity operators are normally used to check whether two operands, the given two operands are equal or not, but at the same time they are not checking the content of that operands. For example, if you are comparing two strings using this identity operators, they will not check whether the content of these two strings are same. Instead, they will check whether they will refer to this. They refer the same copy. Okay, that means once a copy of a particular content is generated, no new copy will be created. That means no new memory space will be allocated. Instead, existing for an existing content, a new reference will be created. So it will check whether both refers to the same memory location, whether both okay variables refers to the same memory location, right? So generally is actually returning true if the operands are identical. That means they refer to the same object. if it is returning true if is not is returning true if both the operands are not identical. For example, let me take this example n1 equal to 10 and n2 equal to 10. So when you are creating a first variable n1 equal to 10, and it will have memory space allocated for it. When a new variable n2 is actually created with the same value 10, instead of creating a new or allocating new memory space to the existing content 10 in a memory location, a new reference n2 will be created. Now n1 and n2 refers to the same memory location with same content. Okay, right? So now print of n1 is n2 will return true because both n1 and n2 refers to the same memory location, but with same content is same. That means in the same memory location, n1 and n2 refers to the same content, so it will return true. Like that, if you are having a string s1 with content good morning, right, and s2 with content good morning, when you are creating s2, instead of creating or allocating memory space for s2, it will create a reference to the existing memory location or memory location allotted for s1. So s1 or s2, s1 and s2 are referring to the same memory location, and it contains the content good morning. So when you are comparing is using when you are comparing these two strings using is, it will return true because they refers to the same memory location. Like that, when you are applying this on the list, the behavior will be a little different, because here when you are creating a new list, a new set of memory locations will be allotted. In that case, is will not return true if you are comparing two lists with same content. Okay, right? Now let us check it. Yes, let me copy the code here. Yes. Now n1 and n2 are the numbers, and they are having no, they are having same content. That means n1 and n2 refers to the same memory location. So if you are applying this between n1 and n2, it has written true. Like that, s1 and s2 are the two string variables refers to the same content good morning, so they refers to the same memory location. And if you are applying is not between s1 and s2, right, since they are referring to the same memory location, they will return false. It will return false. Is not will return true if they are not referring to the same memory location, but they are referring to the same memory location. Now s1 and s2 refers to the same memory location, so it will return false. It will return actually it will return true, right? It will return, sorry, it will return false, because it's not is giving the return result false. Now L1 is a list and L2 is another list. Both are having same content, but in case of list, when you are creating two lists of same content, it will create two different memory locations. So L1 is, L2 will return false. Right, now let us check how it's behaving. Yes, true, false, false. Now let us move to the next type of operator and last type of operator, that is membership operators. Membership operators are checking whether a particular value is available in the given set of or the sequence of values. So there are two membership operators, in and not in. So in is checking whether the given value is available in the sequence or found in the sequence. Okay, right? For example, if you are generating a sequence of numbers, or you have a list of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you want to check whether 5 is available in this list A, you can use in operator. So 5 in A, no, 5 is not in A. Okay, 5 is not in A, and so it will return false. Not in will return true if that particular number is not in that sequence. Suppose actually here, if I say 5 not in A, it will return true because 5 is not in A. But if you use 5 in A, 5 is not there in A, so it will return false. At the same time, for dictionaries, if you are applying that in or not in operators, you can check whether the given key is available in that dictionary or not, but not the value. Okay, here 4 in A, yes, 4 is the key. No, 4 is not, sorry, 4 is the key here, right? 4 is the key here, and it will return true, because you can check whether the given key is available in that dictionary or not when in the case of dictionaries, right? So up to this this topic, we have discussed all the operators in Python, a variety of operators with some examples. Okay, I hope that you understood this operators logic or operators concept, and it is very important to understand the operators concepts to apply them in the various places wherever it is required. So happy programming, and Subscribe for the channel Programmer for Programmers by Felix and press the bell button for the further notifications. Happy programming once again. Thank you.